Rock and roll, Kelly.
Oh, yeah. Hi, Carrie. How are you?
Great, thank you, Kelly.
That's good. I just want to, welcome everyone to today's conversations across the net. Today, Carrie and I are going to be diving in on a topic that I know is very close to so many of us, and it's all about self-trust. What do you think about that one, Carrie?
I think self-trust is huge. Self-trust has been something that
Mm,
I've battled
mm,
with for years. So having that self-doubt, lack of belief in self, it's been detrimental to so many of my projects and
absolutely.
experiences. So self-trust is
Mm.
crucial to having a fulfilling life and feeling, wow.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. And me too, I've had ups and downs with self-trust in so much. But coming to the highlight, realizing that self-trust and trusting myself is one of the most helpful things that I could ever do for myself and my personal growth and my career and my friendship. And I'm just really pumped to be able to share with whoever's out there listening to us, and share our experience. I think that's really, really important.
Absolutely. Because yeah, so if you don't have that self-trust, it affects so much in our lives. So like you said, it's a
Mm.
fundamental thing that we all need is to have that belief that we can. We've got this.
Absolutely. Mm. And even the trust in, even when we make the wrong decision, or it's out of our control, it's okay. It's okay. You know, we're gonna move on from it.
That's
And
so true.
it's just, it is so empowering. There's no one more important for us to be able to trust ourselves.
It's very, very true.
Yeah, yeah. And when we lose trust in ourselves, that's when we constantly are making those mistakes, and not learning from them and not moving forward. So we become criticizing ourselves, and we become harsh towards ourselves mentally, maybe even physically, I don't know. And it starts a downward spiral.
It does. And
Yeah.
I'd love to add to that as well, because when we don't trust ourselves, we find it even harder to trust other people.
Absolutely.
Which makes it even harder if
Absolutely.
you're trying to collaborate
Yeah.
with people, if you can't trust them. And then you end up with the situation of feeling like, I have to do everything. I can't trust anyone to do
Mm,
anything. I have to do all
absolutely.
myself. And then that again leads you
Yeah.
downwards into a pit of how much energy have you actually got to be spending on all these things that you think no one else can do because you can't trust them.
Mm, mm, absolutely. Yeah. And like, have you got any stories or any experiences that you want to share with any of our listeners, Carrie?
Actually, I do. I have a fabulous story of just a couple of weeks ago. I did a podcast. I was helping a friend out. It was the very first podcast that we'd done together, and she got stuck. She went into self-doubt mode. She didn't trust herself to say the right thing. She was just feeling a complete funk. And what was interesting for me was like, I know this one really well. And I know that we had a session a couple of weeks before that, and it went really well. The problem was the recording was not good. And here she was in front of me, and I'm like, I know this is not the Kimberly you can be. And she's like, I know I'm not. It's okay that I'm not. And can we just do this? And it's like, yeah, but we can make it fun. And she started to tell me all her BS stories, how she wasn't good enough, about how she couldn't do it, she was brain damaged, and all of these big things that she brought up. It's like, okay, all right. let's change your state. So I actually started trying coach her a little bit, but she wasn't having a bar of it. And in the end, I thought, well, I actually took my tuning forks to show her and work with her a bit. I thought, I know we're going to do this afterwards, but let's just do this now. And so I used the tuning forks to actually change her state. She went from feeling like,
Wow.
oh my God, I can't do this, to, yeah, I got this. 15 minutes.
Wow.
She got up out she's lying on a bench actually. She got up off the bench and she's like, oh, I feel a bit better. But I know from my experience that when I've worked with tuning forks with me, it's like about 10 minutes later, it's like, oh, that pain I was experiencing is gone. It was like that for her too. She's like, oh, I feel a bit different. I feel a bit better. But by the time she'd gone downstairs, freshened up a bit, she's like, okay, I'm ready to roll. It's like, okay, now you're back.
Wow.
It's
Wow,
phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
So this is, and what I want to illustrate, this is just one way of changing our state. It's not the only way, but it's one way, and it's not permanent. We get stuck and feeling like, oh my God, I can't do this. But there are tools out there that you can use to shift your state, to change that those thinkings and those thoughts and your physiology to make it so that actually, yeah, I got this.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And I like losing you that I just tuning in, and Carrie is does sound healing. And so that's what she's talking about with a tuning fork. And I've had the pleasure of experiencing those, and they are phenomenal. They go right through you. They're amazing, Carrie. I love the tuning fork. And I love the drum, but that's for another day.
And I love that we can do this over like this. Like, you're in Australia, I'm in New Zealand, and you can still get the benefit of those healing sounds, even though we're not.
I know, right?
I find this phenomenal, and I love the way that you shared that you can even feel those vibrations in your body.
I know, it was phenomenal. It was just, I highly recommend those tuning forks. That's for sure. Getting back to self-trust. One of the things that I find for me personally that really helped me build up my own self-trust is when I'm focusing on and really focusing on my own strengths, rather than what I can't do, rather than what I feel like I can't do, or what other people are doing better than me. Focusing on my own strengths, like not saying that I'm worse than someone else, or even I'm better than someone else, but really being confident in what my ability is and what I can do, and accepting my strengths, but also my weaknesses as part of me.
I love that. And at the end, I would love to share a little exercise that people can do for themselves that actually illustrates what you've just said perfectly and beautifully. Would that be cool?
Oh, yeah, I love that. I love that a lot. So, what do you think about, Carrie? What about being decisive? How are you with that?
Oh, being decisive. It really comes down to what the situation is, I suppose, and how familiar I am with it. When I trust myself wholly and completely, and I'm not worried about the result, then I'm definitely more decisive than, say, if I'm unsure and uncertain about myself. That's true, actually. When I think about the times where I've been indecisive, it's because I've been unsure about myself in terms of my ability to make a good choice, or I'm needing to make the right choice. But when I'm not worried about the result so much, and knowing and trusting that I can handle whatever comes, then I'm definitely more decisive, for sure. How about you?
Yeah, I'm the same. When I am really undecisive about things, or I question my decision or my action, I'm quite harsh on myself. And at the end of the day, that can hurt. That can really hurt my self-esteem. And, I start to question who I am. what I'm doing, and I lose focus on, on my abilities and my strengths. So I'm really working on trusting my decisions and going with them, and not waiting for other people to okay them. I think that's really important. If that's what you want to do, that's your decision, then you need to go with it. Not wait for other people to give you the green light to make it okay.
Yeah.
Yeah? How does that sit with you? Yeah.
Oh, that sits really well. Yes, absolutely. Because,
Mm,
yeah, it's so true. I mean,
mm,
that's, yeah, there's so much that you said that it really, really resonates with me when I've been afraid of making a wrong choice for sure. And then especially when I've made a choice and I think,
mm,
oh no, I've made the wrong choice, and I stop beating myself up
mm,
about it. And then you get afraid of
mm,
making another choice
mm.
because it's not so much the choice or the result of the choice you're afraid of, it's actually the self-flagellation that's probably more the thing, because it feels
Absolutely.
horrible.
Yeah.
Instead of just going, you know what, okay,
It
I made that
does.
choice, it wasn't the best, next time I'll do XYZ, and it's okay.
Mm,
Here's what I did. And
mm.
reflecting on,
Yeah.
what did I do well in that choice? Could I have actually
Mm.
even made a better choice in that moment than what I did? Because at the end of the day, we're all doing the best we can with what we've got. We're all
Absolutely.
doing that, even if it
Absolutely.
doesn't look like it, because someone's best is different to yours. We're all doing the
Mm,
best with what we have.
mm. And I really loved how you put in there, Carrie, that kind of breaking down, what can we learn from this? What can we take from this? How can I change it next time? Rather than beating yourself up about it, learn from it. I think that is the key ingredient to building your own self-trust, is learning from, your wrong decision, or indecisiveness. Learn. That's my big takeaway.
Yeah, absolutely. And I
Yeah.
love how you said that about making mistakes, because actually being
Mm,
human, we are infallible. We are going to make mistakes all the time, especially when we're learning. And we can't expect, really, I mean, we do, or at least I used to, expect that I get things right first time. And it's not possible.
mm,
Sometimes you might,
no.
no, but it's
Yeah.
not a realistic
Yeah.
expectation. It's more realistic to expect that actually you're going to try it, like getting on a bike, you're likely to fall off of it at some point. And it's okay that you do. The point
Mm,
is that you get
mm,
back on the bike and you do better the second time around. And maybe you don't, maybe you do worse, but you keep getting back on it until
mm.
you do get better. And that's the key to a growth mindset too,
Absolutely.
is the idea of
Mm,
just better, not getting it right, just getting better at
mm,
what it is you're
mm.
doing, and progress over perfection. Because sometimes we all want just to have
Oh,
everything
yeah.
perfect, but what is perfect?
Mm. Well, that's it. Yeah. That's it. And I love your progress over perfection. That's something that I'm definitely working on, in celebrating and acknowledging that progress towards my big goal. I used to always focus on the big goal in the end, and never acknowledge the little steps in between, or the progress. And that's really important. And if I can just add on, like in the metaphor, when we're little, people, we're learning to ride a bike, and we make a mistake, or we fall off, and everyone encourages us to get back on and keep going. And now, I don't know about you, but I feel as we get older and we become adult, we lose that programming. The thought to get back on and try again is terrifying as we get older. Yeah, do you agree with that, Gary?
I do. From my experience, I do, for sure. Yeah, there's like that need
Yeah,
there's that need or expectation to get things right first time. And if you don't, you're kind
exactly.
of penalized for it. And I actually think about
Mm,
this, and I'm thinking, I wonder if that stems from school. Like, when you get your
mm,
test papers and things like that, there's expectation that you're going to score high grades, that you're going to do really well. And sometimes in some schools and in some situations, you don't get a second chance.
No,
if you do get a second
exactly.
chance, it doesn't matter, you still get a lower grade. I know this was true when I was at university, and I think it was actually true for some of my schooling as well. So I can understand why there would be a fear around or the need to get things right first time, and then feeling like if you didn't, that somehow you weren't successful, that perhaps you weren't enough, even though you could improve. And actually the other part of this was that you're not rewarded for your effort, you're only rewarded for your result.
Oh yeah,
and I know full well for me, I put in tons of effort and I got very little results. I mean, I was lucky in a way. I was kind of average, I think, or maybe slightly above average. But there were some people who I know tried really hard and they got low grades, and they're just like, well, I'm trying. But but you see, they don't reward you for that.
No, I resonate with that. Like I'm one of the kind of students when I'm back in school, I would do really well throughout the year. And then when exams came, I was so stressed out because I would have this, or others would have these high expectations. And so I would be like, I would just fail. And no one acknowledged, like exactly what you said, the good work that I did throughout the rest of the year, the previous year. You know what I mean? It's frustrating, yeah. I get that. I resonate with that. I really do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
what
I
about
know. So I know, Kelly, you've got some tips for us to help us expand on growing our self-trust. I'd love it if you share a few of those.
I do. I would love to. We've covered quite a few, but I'm just gonna go through. Not in any order, but definitely be yourself. Keep promises to yourself and speak kindly to yourself. Because that's someone that you can't just close the door and get away, from that person. So, set reasonable goals. Don't set yourself up for failure. We've all been there, right, Carrie?
Absolutely.
We've all done that. Yeah.
Absolutely. That I want to actually say that's one of the key things for me, is that I always set myself goals which are like 10 steps ahead of where I'm at, expecting myself to achieve that where I am, and it doesn't work for me. It's like, yes, there may be people who are doing those things right now, but they might be at chapter 10 in their journey, whereas I'm still at chapter 1. And so I just have to acknowledge that. And some people might be able to flip their mindset and just be able to do the things that, they think they can, whereas I might not. If my belief systems are still holding me back, I've just got to work within those and those limits and just take baby steps to get myself to where I want to be. And that's totally okay. And I've been doing that in my business this week. I'm just growing step by step, bit by bit, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. It's like, yes, okay, it's not going to meet my financial goals at the end of the year if I keep going that way. It doesn't matter. The point is, I'm working towards it step by step. And that's more important than failing, trying to do to meet that big goal and expectation I have of myself.
I love that. Yeah, that's phenomenal. Well done, you. That's exactly it. When you were saying, you set these high goals, is that, I'm just curious, is that, are you comparing what you want to do with where someone else is?
It's more about,
are you looking at other people?
There's mixtures of things within that. I think there is a bit of looking at what other people are managing to achieve. There's looking at, okay, what do I think is possible? What kind of value do I think I can add to get the my financial needs met, but also deliver fantastic value, and sort of creating a financial goal that is probably a little bit beyond my basket right now.
Right.
And it's okay. And it's just kind of like realizing, yes, okay, that's possible, but maybe right now it's just enough to just do little
Yeah.
baby
Yeah.
steps, and it's
Yeah.
okay. You know?
It is, yeah. Working yourself towards
Yeah.
that big goal. That's
Yeah,
great. I
so
love that.
lowering what I sort of, it's like lowering the bar to the point where I can just step across it.
Yeah.
You know, the
Yeah.
moment it's way
Yeah.
up here and I've got to do a big leap in a way. In terms of my mental thinking and my belief systems, I've got to do a mental leap because there's a lot of objections I have around that stuff. So it's
Right.
like,
Yeah.
so I'm not trusting myself to be able to perhaps convey the value that I'm offering, or maybe I believe that the other person doesn't have the money, whatever it is. The belief systems that I have are holding me back. So it's like, okay, well, if I were on the receiving end of this, would I be able to step across? And if the answer to that is yes, then someone else can as well. So that's where I'm at. It's like, okay, that's where my
I love that. I love that. Yeah, thank you, Carrie. That was awesome. Thank you. I got locked out of that one. You know, and I'm not, and that's one of the next key point that I'm touching on is build on your strengths, and that is you really touched on that and summed up on that in what you shared with us. You know, the fact that you are tuning in on what you can do, and you're setting the bar to the level that you're capable of reaching. You know, so you're building on your strengths, and I love that. I love that. And then the next one, and I'm keen to know what you think about this one, Carrie, is spending time with yourself.
Ooh.
What do you think about that one? Yeah.
I think that's a fantastic one, actually, because it's not so much
Me
just
too.
spending time with yourself, it's how you're spending time with yourself. For instance, got a client in the week who was sharing that she was actually beating herself up for not meditating. It's like, well, okay, well, you have a very full-on day. And she says that she stops and she sits down and has a cup of tea. And it's like, well, why can't that be your meditation? Why can't that be you just being in that moment with yourself and enjoying the surroundings that you're in, whether it's inside or outside? Why can't that be a little micro meditation? Because at the end of the day, meditation is just about bringing in the now, being in the space and being with yourself.
Yeah.
That's all it is. And it's to help you get better life. It's not about getting good at meditation. It's about getting good at life. So I invited her to look at times where she could just do that for herself.
And I love that you pointed it out, and I'm gonna share a moment with me. And all my life, meditation, I've always thought is where, you get into this guru zone, and you're just like, you're chanting, and you're in this zone, and I have come to light with what you just said, that it can be anything, reading a book, sitting in the sun, enjoying a cup of coffee, just closing your eyes and spending time with myself. And if we go back to what you said before, I'm also taking that moment to go over things that have happened, that I've been hard towards myself. And I'm spending those time allowing myself to acknowledge that, you were a little bit hard on yourself there, Kelly. And you've got to just accept what is and let it go. And so I'm really spending those times with myself in doing that, and just enjoying the me time. Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about. At the end of the day, we've got to live with ourselves, right?
It is.
There's no getting away from it. We can be our own best friend.
I love it.
Or we can be our own worst enemy. We have a choice. At the end of the day,
Exactly.
It won't feel like this in the beginning of your journey. I know it certainly wasn't the case for me. I was like, okay, I've got all these thoughts in my head, and they're all nasty, all vindictive against myself. And so it may not feel like that at the beginning of the journey, that there's choice in how you talk to yourself. But trust me, with work and time, it will come. If you find yourself in that situation, it will, absolutely. It can't be any other way.
No, it can't. And that's it. I love the way you said that. It can't be any other way. That's it. To be able to move forward, enjoy what life has to give, and enjoy every moment. And me. I'm big on inspiration and getting inspiration from yourself, and that includes failure and setbacks, you know, in all part of life and all part of your journey. And trusting trusting yourself in knowing that and learning from that is a huge key takeaway for me.
Absolutely. And I'm
Mm, mm.
just want to check in. How are we doing on time here, Kelly?
We are.
Because we could talk a leg off a horse, can't we, about this stuff? We love
I
it. This
know,
is
we could,
like
couldn't we?
this is the stuff that
I
lights us up.
know.
So we could talk all day. But I think we've probably been going for about half an hour or so.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking about our viewers.
Yeah.
So how about, if you're okay with this, how about I share that little exercise for that people can
Oh,
do?
yes, please. Yeah.
Okay, so the exercise is something used
Yeah.
by coaches, and it's called continue to and begin to. And this is all about celebrating you for the stuff that you've done well already. The stuff that is like your strengths, right? This is what you're already good at. It's what you're already doing. And you can apply this to anything in your life. You can apply it to business goals. You can apply it to your work, family, sport, anything. Okay. Anything that you want to do better at. Okay. It's really, really simple. The first thing to do is think about 6 things that you're already doing in that subject area or topic area really well. And this is important. Focus on the good. Don't, if you start thinking about, okay, you could have done this better, cool, park that to one side for a minute. Just focus on the good
Okay.
stuff. Okay. Focus on everything
All
that
right.
you've done well. And then once you've got those 6, and it's okay if you can't find 6. If you only find 2, it's all good. But whatever you can find up to about 6. Celebrate. Okay, give yourself a pat on the back. Really acknowledge yourself. Yes, I did that. Go me.
Oh,
have a
yeah.
drink. Go and sit outside. Whatever it is for you that makes you feel good, and go, yes, I've achieved something this week. Do that first, okay? Now you can look at, okay, so what could I have done better? And here's the important thing. Whatever you've found in the first part, if you only found 2, find one thing that you'd like to improve on this week. If you found 4 things, do 2. If you found 6 things, do 3. The important thing is the ratio. You want fewer begin tos, fewer things that you're going to do better than you do the things that you've done well. Okay, so you want it in that proportion. It doesn't matter if there's like 10 things you think you could have done better. Pick one.
I love that. I love that.
Just pick one. Start there, and you can build that up. The following week, you might notice you did even more better. That's cool. Then do 2 or 3, whatever it is. Okay, but make sure you pick up to 6 good things and up to 3 things that you can improve on, and make sure it's in a ratio of about 2 to 1. Well,
I love that. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Love to hear how people go with that one. I've been finding that one really useful for myself.
Yeah, I'm going to give that one a go. Thank you. I like that. Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, Carrie. Yeah.
You're welcome.
Cool. So, I think, like, I guess it's safe to say that trusting yourself is one of the most helpful things that we can do in our life, right?
Absolutely. The self-trust, we can be unstoppable.
Absolutely. We build up our confidence, and in doing that, I don't know, Carrie, do you feel like if we become self-trusting within ourselves, then other people might start to trust us more as well?
Absolutely, because when you start to trust yourself, you start to become more reliable. You start to take on things that, okay, yes, I can do that. You start to be more discerning around, can I do that? Because you're not going to want to make promises to yourself that you can't keep. Which means that the promises you do, you are going to keep them, which means you're more reliable. You're not going to bail out because you know that you can do it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. Is there anything else that you would like to add or share with our beautiful listeners today, Carrie?
That they can do it. Whatever it is that they've got their mindset on, they can totally do it. Absolutely. Especially with the tools that you've shared today, that we've both shared today in this conversation. If they apply even just a fraction of that, they absolutely can achieve what it is that they want.
Absolutely, yeah. Absolutely. And I know, you know, for me, and I know you talked about your journey, but for me, the change before becoming a coach and learning these life skills, I'm a different person. I'm a totally different person, and I love the person I've become. And it's all, and definitely part about trusting myself.
And I
I still have moments, but yeah.
And I just want to acknowledge you, Kelly, because I've been part of your journey. Well, you've both been part of our journeys as we've been growing as coaches, and I can see the difference in you from when we first started to connect and have conversations. And we've been catching up now for quite a while, haven't we? And I can see the difference in you. You're so much more confident. You're so much more sure of yourself and the way that you show up and the way that you speak, and how much clearer you are able to articulate yourself and your words. It's just amazing.
Oh, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
I mean, even there, right there, yeah. You know, even right there, for me to be able to turn around and say thank you, rather than, oh no, you're silly, you don't know what you're saying.
Exactly. We can take a compliment better, can't we?
Exactly, that's it. Take a compliment. Fantastic. All right, Carrie, shall we wrap this up and say bye to our listeners?
Absolutely. So actually on that note, because I'm aware that, like my friend who went through that whole self-doubt thing, I'm going to share with whoever's listening a protocol that they can use for themselves.
Lovely.
To help them overcome their anxiety. So, you know, they will be able to find it on. Oh, if they go to, just trying to think where to post it. Actually, it will be the link will be in the notes of this podcast or YouTube.
Okay.
Wherever they're watching this, the notes will be in the comments there, so they can just click on the link and go and download it. Completely free.
Fantastic.
Have a listen to it. I'd love your feedback on it. I'd love to know if it makes a difference to you. But used regularly, it can help to literally help let you let go of that anxiety and the self-doubt stopping you from doing the things that you want to do.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I look forward to checking that out. I really do.
Awesome. Looking forward to sharing it.
I know. All right, then. Okay, again, Carrie and I are so excited and happy that we're able to share this stuff with you, and we hope that you get something out of it and learn, and we're really keen to get your feedback. So comment on the post.
Yeah, actually, one thing they could do, and this really helps with learning. Like this is a scientifically proven fact, right? You type or you write things down as you learn. So write in the comments what you've learned from this podcast. What's your big takeaway?
Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah, key takeaway. Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, even if you've got one that we haven't talked about, please add that as well.
Yeah, absolutely. If there's something we haven't covered that you'd like us to talk about, definitely. We'd love to hear it.
Yeah, absolutely.
And remember to like and subscribe.
Oh, absolutely. That would be great. We would ever so grateful, ever so grateful.
Not just that, but it means you don't miss a thing. More importantly.
Well, that too, yeah. Cool. All right, then. All right. I'm going to sign off now.
Okay, take care, everyone. Bye from us across the ditch.
Mwah.